I know what a lot of you guys are doing wrong, and if you don't get a hold of it and correct it, you're gonna keep doing it wrong. In the 90s, early 90s, I played some guy in Anaheim, California, dirt cheap, like $5 a game, who would punch himself in the face when he did something stupid. Not necessarily whenever he missed shot, but if the shot was easy and he missed it, if he missed position, or if he miscued or scratched or whatever, he would punch himself in the face hard too, hard enough to knock the tooth out. At first, this was somehow morbidly entertaining, in a sick way. But it soon got to be really disturbing, and now I knew why all the locals were gathering around watching a $5 9-ball game. It wasn't to see excellent pool players play pool, it was to see this guy punch himself in the face. Yeah, so after now, and he wasn't a bad player. It's just, I was beating him, but I was only up like 2 or 3 games, and I let him get even, and I quit. Because I couldn't be a part of that anymore. It wasn't pool, it was just some kind of sick entertainment, And so, you could tell he wasn't the kind of guy to pull aside and have a talking to. And I learned that many of the locals did try to talk to him, and he just blew up on them. I'll never forget that. And you guys out in Southern California probably know who I'm talking about.
Those guys are assholes.
Well, here's what we have, and things don't look good, particularly in this little cluster here, and I don't shoot combinations. So I'm trying to work my way out of this, only I make more of a mess when I shoot the one. I'm trying to stop the cue ball on the 9-ball, but I hit it too thin and make the cluster even worse, and add another ball in there. Yeah. So I'm struggling, and in the old days I was really, really hard on myself. I'd be calling myself every name in the book for shooting this one the way I did. Not as bad as the guy that punched himself in the face, but I would call myself every name in the book and tell myself I'm a choker, I'm a wannabe. I mean, it's just horrible stuff. But, it just doesn't happen anymore. I don't like it, but I make note of it and I work on it later. And we're going to talk more about that later, because this vlog type video of me yakking in the car continues to go on. The 2-ball and the 3-ball goes fine, and I'm trying to get in a position on the 4-ball to be able to come across the table a little bit and hit that 8. If I can hit it full, I should be good on the 5, and that should do it. But that doesn't do it. Actually, things get worse from here, and because I'm a freaking idiot and I can't play this game. No. I just need to work on a few things, and you'll see what happens. Hey, let's get some ice cream. And it was a pretty bad break, and I accidentally drew the ball down table, and I got a long shot, cut shot on the 1 ball. And I wanted to put bottom on this so I could hit the 9 ball full and just leave it, right there on the rack. But I didn't want to play with it because it was already a hard shot, and I thought, I'm trying to line it up right now, and I thought I could hit the 9 ball full. I needed to draw it a little bit. And you can see I barely skim it there, and it sends it into the rail, making that cluster a lot worse. Now I have another long shot on the 2, and I'm trying to get the center table. And I don't quite do it, and another long shot on the 3 ball, but this should leave me good on the 4 ball. And the whole objective is to come off the 4 and hit that 8 full. If I skim that 8 like I skimmed that 9, I'm going to be in big trouble. Might even have to play as safety. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. That's the only way I can see out of this mess is to just bump the 8, and I should have a good shot on the 5. Yeah, that was a breath holder there. But now everything looks fine, and I'm gonna have to shoot the combination on the 8-9, but you'll see that's cool later. I got bad on the 6, and there was no way to get behind the 8, and I'm jacked up, way jacked up, and I'm trying. But yeah, I actually jumped it by accident, and of course, the draw didn't take. Yeah, I'm shooting a bank, but it might not be what you think. Yep. I figured I could make the 9 ball from anywhere up table, so just shoot the 8 in the corner. And that'll do it. This video ain't over. The vlog keeps coming, so get yourself a beer and relax. Reaching an advanced level of pool begins with caring a lot, enough to sacrifice other things in our lives, to spend countless hours working on our game, and this can be said about a lot of things in life. You have to care a lot. But that issue in itself can be a very dangerous thing. Just the fact that you care a lot in the hands of someone who just doesn't understand the human mind can do a lot of damage. And it doesn't come down to you care too much. You can't care too much. It comes down to how you handle that. When you miss a shot, or when you just do something bad on the pool table, what are you saying to yourself? Because it's vital to understand that your subconscious is believing what your conscious is telling it. So if you're saying, I suck at this game, I'll never be great at this game, you have to understand that you're believing it, and you have to step back from that issue and realize how your best friend would feel if you said what you're saying to yourself to him or to her. Would you say that to your best friend? And if you're any kind of human being, you wouldn't. So what would you say? Okay, we'll work on that issue. You're just doing this wrong here. So what we need to do is make the right way ahead of it, and we'll just work harder on it. That's the right thing to say to yourself when you're telling yourself you're an idiot. You're doing incredible damage, and it might seem like nothing, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be hard on yourself. You're making your progress in this game absolutely impossible. You're actually abusing yourself the same way you would if you were abusing a friend. Of course, you wouldn't say these horrible things to your friend, but you don't hesitate to say them to yourself, and you're not understanding the damage that you're doing to yourself. So over the years, I've experimented with this, and I concluded something that was absolutely wrong, and just told myself, well, I'm just not going to give a shit anymore. I'm not going to purposely hurt myself knowing that I'm hurting myself. So I just won't give a damn, and who cares? And of course, that's the wrong decision. But at the times I worked on this, I didn't realize that what I was doing was wrong. And so you go from being too hard on yourself to sabotaging yourself, and once you just don't care anymore, there's no incentive to play well, and you just, it's like, well, who cares? So that's wrong. You shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And it is to say that there's a line you have to walk to where you have to care a lot in order to progress. But you can't sabotage yourself. You can't be too hard on yourself. You have to understand the damage that is doing. So the greatest players in the world understand that line, and they conclude the right thing. Well, we'll just practice. We'll just work harder on that shot. Now, some guys, they're quick to blame everything but themselves, and I think it hurts them in the long run. I've never heard Earl Strickland take responsibility for anything. Everything is always someone else's fault. So you can succeed with that. I think Darren Appleton is too hard on himself, and it shows. Guys like Mika Eminem, they're really, really high strung, and Mika is an incredible player, but he never seems to be in the top 8 of any tournament he enters. In fact, I don't know how he can afford to live in New York City and keep going. He must have some kind of side hustle or something. So, if you watch closely, when a player of Shane's caliber or Jason Shull's caliber dogs a shot in a tournament, they'll be setting that ball up as soon as that match is over, and try to figure out what they did wrong and how to adjust it. This is what great players do. They don't sit around calling themselves an asshole and beating the hell out of themselves. They don't like it, but they know they did something wrong, so they're going to work on it. For some people, not caring is real easy, especially if you have a whole lot of things going on in your life, and you can do without the time on the pool table. I mean, other people, because they've sacrificed so much throughout their lives, they care more when they start getting older, because they realize that their lack of job skills was due to their sacrifice, to get great. So there they are, great, and they don't have 2 nickels to rub together to show for everything they've sacrificed. So sometimes their answer is to be harder on themselves, and that equates to them, caring more. And this is how you crack up and you're left with nothing at all. And it's sad to watch, and I've seen it over the years, to where, all that guy can do is play pool. But now that, in the days of the hustler, you can't get action, and your only hope is to win a tournament, and now you're going up against the very best in the world. If you can't cut it, you're left with absolutely nothing. It's a vicious, vicious industry, man. And no one's going to give a shit about you. Especially if you're kind of a, So because it was easier for me to not care, because I was older and I had businesses to run and women to attend to, and a lot of it, other things going on in my life than pool. It was easy for me to say, I just don't care anymore. And I paid the price for that. I played about a month, just not caring, and I couldn't make a damn shot. And then there I was like laughing. I was like, why do I care? So there's a definite line that can hurt you even more than being way too hard on yourself. But being the extreme can make a lot of enemies for you, including yourself. And you're gonna wonder why you can't make a ball, you can't break and run out. And it's because you told yourself you're an idiot that can't play this game. And you believed it.